From Erie Zone Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
And this is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and sorry we got on a little late today. We had some business to take care of upstairs, and we got that done, and we'll have a couple guests coming in a short time. And once again, the phone number is on the screen, 870-1284. You can call in. As usual, the only ground rules we have is any subject goes, anything you want to discuss is fair game. Just keep it in the realms of good taste and try not to get personal. And with that in mind, we'll wait for your phone calls, and I think I see one of my guests coming in, and might have a couple actually. Whoop, I hear him now.
Yes. There he is.
You're just in time.
I'm just in time. No, I'm not. I'm late.
It's quiet. We haven't got a phone call yet. It's my good friend, DJ. How you doing?
I'm alive. Don't want to advertise for anybody.
You don't?
No, you don't want to.
You're not. Well, I'm advertising for.
Oh, okay.
Well, Timmy Hortons is a proud purveyor of 2 stores in the city of Erie that I know. No, 3.
4.
In the city.
Oh, in the city, yeah.
Yeah, 3 in the city of Erie. So I'm proud to support local merchants.
There you go.
And Timmy Horton, he's a, old Canadian guy, but three stores in the city of Erie.
Sweet.
We haven't had that kind of businesses, showing that kind of, what do you call it, the franchises in a long time.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad every time I look around and I see, a new merchant coming in or something like that. It's good for the city.
It is. It definitely is.
But
I have to ask why your friend's not up here and I'm stuck.
well, we can have him come up. He's in the timeout corner, but
You're in the
I'm in timeout.
timeout.
you want to come up?
Yeah, come on. You got enough camera room there?
Pardon?
He can pull the camera out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got. We got all the up new technology.
I'll even move so you.
DJ, you're going to the far right.
I'm going to the far right.
We're in trouble.
I'm on the far left, so that means you're the voice of moderation.
I'm caught in the middle.
You have to be the voice of reason.
Uh-oh.
The voice of reason. Is there a voice of reason?
Not in today's.
It was interesting. So it was on the news the other day. So many people are ticked off that at both parties that there's now a hardcore group in the middle somewhere.
You're not voting either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not voting, like Democrats.
And the big thing is that you got to get out and vote because whether you have to, because that's the only way you make changes or agree with what's going on.
In some cases, you just vote for the lesser of 2 evils, I guess.
Well, I tell people this, listen to the candidates, ask them questions. I like being put on the spot. You know what? If I can't defend my position, I have no right to have a position or do anything.
Sure.
Whoop, we lost that one.
First caller.
Boy,
He'll call back.
you lost out of practice, sir.
So you want to be introduced as the voice of the people, 42-year employee of Zurn?
Yeah. What's left of it?
Well, that's another problem all over America, but things have changed over. We were talking the other day, we were at it's interesting, we were at the 100th anniversary of the 3rd Street Falcons.
Oh, yeah?
You think of that one, 100, and they were talking about the things that had changed in the neighborhood.
Oh.
The influx of Polish immigrants, the church had expanded twice, all that, it's amazing what's not there anymore. Go ahead, caller.
3 of a kind that'd be the flush.
A royal flush.
Is that guy way on the end drinking Mountain Dew?
I've graduated to the big bottles.
Didn't do Earnhardt any good yesterday.
You don't watch those guys, do you?
Once in a while I chop it in.
There's an old joke that if they ever had to turn their wheel right, they'd be lost.
That's like kind of like when we used to go out of town.
What?
If we ever turned left, we'd be in a shock.
You know, we were talking about
Things in
NASCAR.
mind.
You know, NASCAR just holds the wheel left.
Okay.
Yeah. But the things I have in mind, that place in Northwest apartments down there, they're still bringing their garbage out. So it shows what an effective code enforcement.
Well, you know, I did, like I told you, John, I did find out that, you know, they are paying us, so now the next step will be, and I'll make a note, I'll go up there, in fact, I'll make sure I tell them today.
Well, I saw a woman taking out her garbage.
Well, they should be out early, that's the thing, you know, we have a rule, what is it, 24 hours?
Well, it was out Sunday.
Yeah, and their pickup is what, Thursday?
Thursday.
Like the rest of us up there.
But, you know, it's just like code enforcement, it's like the streets department, it's like the parks department. They see all these violations all over the city of Erie, and they ignore them. 38th and Pine Avenue, there's a gentleman has a sign on the pole, nailed into the pole, snowplowers wanted.
Yeah.
Numbers on the damn advertisement.
Well, I got to sit, that's not my liaison, but I'm going to get permission from the, I mean, I can talk anyway, but I'm going to run it through the liaison and see if we can set up a meeting with code, because I'm seeing well, you've seen them, there's a proliferation of signs now.
Well, you go down the block there, you see a monster in the front yard.
Yeah, not only that, they're on telephone poles.
Plowing, grass cutting.
And then the other day, we had a couple complaints, you probably saw them, along Pine Avenue.
Yeah.
And, you know, they did cite the one house, and I see they moved the garbage now into their backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, but, you know, and the other two mattresses that were there are gone now at that other house, so, you know, it shouldn't come to that, you know, we have to turn them in all the time. I mean,
well, you know, it's where these people that work for the city, unless they're given a direct order, they cannot multitask.
well, you know, if you're riding around,
They see it, they should stop and address it.
I can understand some of the side streets because they're not very well traveled, but
The main drag.
yeah, if you're going down East Avenue or 38th Street, come on now, you know. I'm just amazed at the stuff they throw out there, and it's like, there's either a lack of education. Now, you can understand it with the college kids, because the ones that rent those houses,
To the city.
but somebody's not telling them. But then, you know, maybe we have to start, you know, sending out rules and regulations when we inspect the apartments or something like that, because, you know, the neighborhoods are turning into something we didn't intend. You know, I drove around the other day, and there's cars parked on lawns that aren't properly designated, and
These people putting concrete on their front yards and all that, where are they getting the permits?
Right.
What rules are they following?
yeah, you know, we're pretty loose on that, but still, you have to run it. There's a reason why they want it run through the engineering department. That's because of you're dealing with water retention and the effect on the neighborhood. You know, all the blacktop and all the concrete, water's going to run somewhere.
It's true.
It's either going to go in your neighbor's house, down the street. There's one street near you, I won't say, they're aware of it. And if you follow the street, and this is a problem, nobody's to blame today, but going back, no one ever put drains on that street. It looks like they cut that street in the middle of a block. They developed it, you know, and it's been there for years, but there's no drainage. So what the water runs down the curbs, and it goes to the low spot, like water always. They used to teach in the Army, never pitch your tent on the lowest ground. You know, especially if you want to be dry when you come up in the morning. Well,
No, I blame for a lot
the
of
water
that.
runs right in the driveway of this one house, you know.
Your engineering department is not up to date.
Well, they're understaffed. I mean,
Well, it's not that. I mean, it's from the way that they're still having grades from the 40s, for Christ's sake.
well, you know, they're limited in a lot of things because we don't change our ordinances correspondingly. You know.
Norton, you don't change anything down there.
Well, here's a good one. You know, the state does things that I find unbelievable.
Well, never mind. I'll let that slide.
Well, no, we had an argument about, you know, these cutouts, right?
Oh, the ADA ramps are ridiculous.
I mean, the cutouts, like at the foot of my street, is technically a walkway, correct?
True.
So the state did the right thing, which is they built a cut on the other side of the street, because even though it's not a street, it ends perpendicular. a lot of our streets, you know what I'm talking about, John, right?
A lot of those around.
Yeah, especially on the east side, they just dead end at 38th Street. But there's still walkways because there's sidewalks that lead in there.
Yeah, but when you have one that leads into a bank of dirt, where's it going?
Yeah, I've been taking pictures because I had a little argument with, and I said, you know, I can find these all over the city that they're either in violation of our sidewalk ordinance or, you know, and then we play hard.
Excuse me, what sidewalks or ordinance?
Well, that's true. We play hardball though with a lot of people. It's like, you know, I knew a couple businesses. We really got on them hard about these, you know, business signs, and the business signs were smaller than the illegal signs, which appeared all over the street. You know, you go up 38th Street, how many of those signs you think went through code enforcement? or what do you call, not code enforcement, but, you know, get the permits and make sure
None.
they were, okay, because our, you know, basically it's a residential area, a lot of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, those Christmas tree signs are going to be out like crazy now because politicians have a couple of weeks before the election.
Yeah.
And how long will they be addressing the wonderful countryside?
Oh, yeah, well, they're supposed to be, you're supposed to take them out in a 30-day window.
They should have the fine high enough till they get the permits where they'll get them out.
The only place I ever had to pay, I remember this, was if you did them in Mill Creek, you had to post a bond.
That's what they should do in the city.
Well, we do pick them up if they're illegal, but...
No, I mean after the election.
Yeah, well, you know, after that, they're kind of forgotten. And
So you're going to have Wolf signs all over. You're going to have Corbett signs all over. They're going to be up there in Mill Creek. They're going to be down on 38th and Pine Avenue.
you know where I get a kick? When they hang on a minute, John, go ahead and talk.
While the losers and the winners after the election, they don't care. They let them stay there. And, you know, we have all kinds of things involved. Well, how's our cat man doing? Have you shot a new 12th Street photo yet?
What was the question?
He wants to know if you changed the photo.
The photo?
Of the cat man.
Oh, of the ugly cat?
I want to see a state police car going into Arby's instead of a police van.
Yeah, we used to have that camera pointed higher, but then we realized we were just advertising for Arby's, so I had to point the camera down.
Oh, you can come down on 38th and Page and catch the potholes right in the middle of the intersection that people keep hitting with schools coming out, the school kids walking around.
DJ and I are thinking about, we're going to put STEMCA driving the vehicle, and we're going to go in the back with a camera, and we're going to do the best and worst of the city of Erie.
He has enough problems up there in Marion Street. I'm an East Sider too. You know, the East Siders don't get what the West Siders get. They get treatment.
Now, I've been told that's a perception. That's not
That is
true.
not a perception. That is a fact.
Now, you've been down Davison. This is my pet peeve. From 38
I live
down.
a couple of blocks away from Davison. I live on Page.
Okay, well, when you go down from 38 down, the water department put pipes in there about 2-3 years ago, and that road is terrible. And I'm trying to figure out who pays for fixing that road, the city or the water department.
Well, the water department is a joke. In fact, I'll tell you what a joke it is. You had another main leak down on State Street.
Yep.
You had leaks before up on 26th Street, over on Peach Street. If Tech down there, whatever his name is, if he redid the lines instead of just patching them, we would alleviate this problem. And now you watch when they come down there, they just paved that section.
When? Where?
When they have their
24th
contractor
State.
come in and pave after they do the repair, it'll be worse than what the city guys did.
Oh, they're terrible paving.
You go down on 38th and Burton down there and look at that patch job.
There's no doubt that our infrastructure will have to be addressed someday.
Well, the whole thing here, I thought Joyce did the infrastructure way back when she's paid all that money to concrete line those pipes.
I think what she did was she
Made it worse.
she cleaned them out, supposedly, right?
Yes,
And then lined them.
with concrete.
Was that the sewers or was that the water lines?
Water
Water.
and sewer.
Water and sewer both?
Right behind the water at Warner Theater, remember? Those pipes
Yeah.
were so bad, there was nothing going to them.
Yeah, some of them broke and,
Yep.
well, they found wooden ones every once in a while too.
The wood log with was a better system than what we have now. You know, they said they couldn't find that leak down there. You know, they have their gauges. What they did they shoot too much pressure? I doubt that, because it's so far out, but it's a 12-inch main.
Trouble is in America, though, that's the problem we're facing over the United States is we haven't addressed. I made a joke the other day, and it's not really a joke, it's kind of true. Everybody likes to be at the groundbreaking of a new stadium or
a nice silver shovel and
yeah.
a hunk of dirt.
But there's nothing glamorous about digging up a sewer system, you know.
I dug many of them up. I dug steam lines, water lines.
But you know what I mean, John? Those aren't the kind of things that draw attention.
Okay, how about Summerheim? $40 million.
Well,
when
you build that's nice, okay?
Yeah,
but nobody likes the piping. When you, like, say you're announcing a new project, you're going to dig up like half the city of Erie.
Right.
Those kind of things aren't glamorous, okay?
But Summerheim, $40 million. And I talked to people who've worked there a lot of years. They said they still don't have it right. $40 million, what's it take?
I don't know. What do you think, John?
I think it's the development and what they've done. The filtration is great, the whole works, but the whole thing is they haven't been up to date. It's just like with the emergency system, the computers are out of date, everything was out of date, and now you got a county exec that wants to put the taxpayers up on the roof again with a bond issue. I'm sick of bond issues. In fact, I'll tell you the truth, I'm sick of politicians.
Uh-oh. Do you think that all the development is what's hurting us, though? The fact that all that water's going through the system, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, you know, they actually, if you remember, do you remember on East Avenue when I think it was the Township of Mill Creek had to pay for that project?
Yes.
Because they were contributory. Mm-hmm. But what's happened is you had.
What did they settle for? How much did they? How much was the fine?
I think what they did was they had to pay for the construction of a bigger pipe.
And they put a flow meter in.
Well, you know, because remember Florida used to get flooded?
Yes.
All down around Florida Avenue and that. So
Yep.
they found out that, you know, if you trace the problem all the way up to the hill, to Peach Street, you know, you got all those parking lots. That's why you have retention ponds up there now. So all that water, it's got to come somewhere. Well, you're putting it through a system that was designed for the city of Erie back in the 40s and 50s. Nobody back there could have envisioned what's happened outside the city line.
Right.
But
it's getting bigger and bigger, and the whole thing here, we need more water departments.
yeah, their pipes may be okay up there, but when you get to the city line, all of a sudden, it's like you're shooting a rigatoni, okay, and all of a sudden you're down into a soda straw.
That's true.
So, I mean, you're going to have a problem. So they have been, I think, when they proved there was, you know, involvement by other government agencies, they've had to, it's going to take a lot to, you know, you get an old system that wasn't designed for suburban growth, you know.
One quick thing, I read some things that Sarah Galloway was talking about, the lead pickup and everything else, and how the sewer basins and all that, the city's doing a great job. Well, she ought to take a ride and get her feet wet and look at the leaves inside the basins of the drains and all that. In fact, I called the sewer department up. Our catch basins haven't been cleaned up here in years.
Well, you know what, John, give me a list, and I'll turn them in personally, because they're pretty good about it when they're pointed out.
Well, I called up and given the whole directions and all that, and I know they must be backlogged. But you know, one other quick thing.
Will you give me that list?
Yeah, when you see.
Send it to me on email, John.
All right, when you see a street sweeper out in a pouring rain, what the hell is wrong with this picture? I'll call back if nobody else calls. All righty.
It was funny.
Well, you know, I don't even know if they use, I was going to ask them once if they even turn on the water on those things anymore.
No.
It looks like they don't. I've never seen.
When I was a kid, the kids loved it.
Yeah.
They'd come down the street.
You just blow to the side.
And the kids, they ripped off their jeans, they had their shorts on. They're waiting for and then when the guy opened up the corner, if you got a nice guy,
Yeah.
he kind of didn't tighten up real good. And the kids all got a free shower.
But see, back in those days,
It was fun, though, you know.
It was fun. We flew kites and stuff like that. What do kids do now?
I was in Chicago.
Yeah, all they do is on that little computer thing, running. Am I right?
Yes.
That's all they do.
You're right.
What kind of education you get at that?
That's not good. We were playing ball. I remember, but little things turned us on. Like, if
Yeah.
the guys turn the fire hydrant on, ball game ended for about 5 minutes. You'll go over and get, cooled down, right? The milkman came down. He had the dry ice in there. He wanted to mess around with that a little bit. But I was in Chicago. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do this, but I was sitting there in this Center City neighborhood where my daughter lived, and some guy come out with a wrench, and the kids all got,
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't take long. I think it was about 15 minutes. Fire truck came down and
That was the end of that.
they locked it up, resealed it. But you think about it, it's kind of like for a while there, all the kids in the neighborhood were cooled down, and
Well, when we were kids, we had chess in the pool.
yeah, you're right.
The boys had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Friday, and the girls had the other days, odds and evens. And we went down, everybody had a good time.
And we had
no one
a nice
fights.
playground program too at one time.
We had a great thing going on in the city. But we got to wake up these kids. I think it was, don't quote me, but this morning, the clerk I think he said he got a memo in the mail. Here's these two young kids, 15, 16, had guns, showing off with the guns, and they were showing money. And
Yeah.
here's these two other kids watching them, 7 and 8.
They're learning.
They're learning.
I think there was a 10-year-old I heard that had a pistol too one day somewhere. I was down the other day. I do drive through the neighborhoods once in a while, and people call me. So
At night?
I've done that, but you got to be careful. Where you are. But I get calls all the time from people that got problems. So I do go down and try to visit. Go down and see what they're talking about. Everybody's got their own neighborhood issues. And it's strange in the mentality. The one day I was down there, and you could hear popping off in the distance, and the kids in the neighborhood are just like,
Yeah.
no big deal, But as you drive through there, you're seeing, you're wondering, what has happened, that.
That's what the kids are being brought up.
Yeah, and when you got, it's a shame that those kids will never know what we knew, which was, we could stay out till the moon came out. As long as we could hear the baseball, we couldn't see it, we could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody got hit, that was time to end the game. When you couldn't see it anymore, real well, but you don't see it anymore. You don't see, like you said, they're
On their little computer.
on a little computer. They don't get out, and we got to find. This is where we fell down. I think was there's nothing wrong with having programs. I'd rather spend on programs like getting kids involved in some kind of league, something. Whatever turns them on. Even if they're playing with the games, let's get them inside somewhere where they're not just playing games; they're learning.
Different activities.
Yeah, some other stuff. And that's what's changed. I mean, too much free time. You ride around at night, and people are meandering, kids at a young age, and we don't have enough cops to babysit them. We don't.
Now, what was it? One officer told me when he got on the force, there was 200 and some officers on the.
Yeah, we're
force.
down from that. We're
Yeah,
under.
where we're at now.
Probably. I don't want to speak out of turn. Probably about 100 and maybe 60 or 70.
We're down 50, 60 officers.
Well, from when Lou Tullio was here, he had a lot of grants,
Right.
and we were well up into the 200s.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for these younger cops that come in there and, they're chasing their tail around town here, and these
Yeah.
kids are shooting. And I'm afraid, I hate to see someone get hurt,
What
I think they should be using their vest a little bit more.
Go ahead, caller.
Are you on the air?
Yes, we are. You're on the air, too.
I have a blank screen, and I don't know about the rest of the city.
Oh, geez, I wonder, can you hear us?
I can hear you. No, it's a blank screen. It's just black. Well, anyway, I called you at home the other day about the problem on East Avenue with all the junk.
Yeah, you're the gentleman, and I mentioned that the two mattresses are gone, correct?
I haven't gone over there, but
Yeah, they're gone, and that house you pointed out to me that had garbage on both sides,
yep.
they cited him right after I turned your complaint in. And I think the garbage is now in his backyard, side yard. He took it off the street and put it in the back now.
It's right on the side, by the driveway.
Yeah, he moved it. I got to take another look, but when I went by there the other day, it wasn't in the front and the side. It was now like you said, on the side of the house there.
You know where the owner lives?
I was told Georgia, was it?
Yep, lives in Georgia. I called code the other day.
Yeah, they told me they would cite it. They did. They put a red thing on there.
They took that off the front door the other day.
Yeah, I think they were. That means they were notified. So, the other two mattresses you pointed out to me, I think they're gone because I couldn't find them today.
I would have to. Too far for me to walk, but
You're right about that, though. I took a ride, and I'm saying I found a few more after that. Even it seems it's a problem that's growing. It looks terrible, though, But that one house you pointed out with the garbage on both sides, that was something else. Yeah, it was like I thought there were two houses until I drove around the corner. I said it's the same house.
no, it's the same house.
Yeah, he ran out of room in the front, so he put it on the side.
Wow.
It looks like, from where I can see it looks like it's that all the garbage is corralled in some kind of a container.
They had it on a tarp the other day.
Okay, maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, and my wife and I were heading down that way to, we go down to church that way, and we were looking at it, and she said, well, I said, oh, it's gone, and she goes, not quite. She said, it's on the side of the house now, but it's off the street, but they were pretty aware who when I talked to them, they knew who the guy was, and I said, well, you're not going to get much results. He's down there, so.
Yep. I have no picture on my TV whatsoever.
What's that about, DJ?
Are you watching Channel 9, or do you have a converter box? What's your setup like?
Channel 9, nothing.
Channel 9, if you're hooked up directly to the cable, you won't get anything, but
I watch your show every week.
Do you have a converter box?
Yes, I do. I record your show every week.
Yeah, there must be a problem with Time Warner.
Blank screen.
Any other channels?
My wife's box is the same, her TV is the same way.
Are any other channels out?
That channel come in fine, just Channel 9 is blank.
You should give them a call then, right?
Yeah, you might want to call Time Warner. That may be a problem on their end.
They came into my house and rewired part of mine because I had problems.
Yeah.
Anybody else complain about no picture?
Not yet.
Not today.
Next time somebody call, well, I won't know because I can't.
I had a problem with mine, and they said that they checked the system, and they had a guy come over with his computer. He sat in my driveway, and he said there's a good signal coming in. However, like after it came down, just before it entered my house, it started getting bad there.
Yeah.
And then they found out it was bad inside the house, and he said like your internet was down there. So he spent about a good hour there, and he rewired a lot of my problems. So maybe you got something that's maybe an old piece of equipment that's doing something.
Yeah, it looks like we're live. We're on the web stream right now, which means we're more than likely
Go
going
watch
out.
TV in one room, my wife watches TV in another room.
I'd give them a call. They won't try, they'll come on and check it, Maybe he can tell you there's some, it's unusual. Like DJ said, if you're only getting one channel, is the only one not working.
Yep, that's the only one that's not working.
You get channel 2 and all that too?
Yep.
Okay, that's weird.
Well, but channel 2, 1, or 3, I should say. Yeah, that comes on Hungry Howie.
Well, sounds like a local problem. Like
Yeah, I'd call him. I'd give him a call and.
But you're not coming in whatsoever. Okay, I'll let somebody else talk.
Hey, thank you for calling. If you get any more complaints, feel free to call me.
Okay, I'll see how long that garbage stays there.
Yeah, at least he took it. Well, I'm not happy. Just taking it off the street. I ride by there pretty frequent, so I'll keep a look on it.
Okay, now, he explained to me how that junk car works. According to the way the code is written, every person in the city is allowed one unlicensed car on their property, as long as it's not in the front yard.
What if does it have to be, it can be off tires too and everything?
I don't know, he didn't explain that, but he says that car can sit there forever unless the property owner removes it.
I'm gonna double check with that, because I was told that if birds start nesting in it, or squirrels, and then, you start, I had one that, believe it or not, we had one where weeds were growing up through the car. Through a floorboard, and then,
I can't remember if the guy told me unlicensed or uninspected.
I'm gonna check with them, because sometimes I think if they get to be I think the intent was, like, you could have a car that,
There you go.
you could have a car that was normal, that was drivable, that was sitting there, but I didn't think you could just leave a scrap car there forever, But I'll check for you, double check, okay? Whose is that?
That's
Me.
That's your phone?
This guy. I thought it was coming over the PA. I thought we were going off the
I
air.
thought we were,
We're done.
We're done.
that gentleman called me, and it was, as I drove around, it's amazing what you see. I was like,
Yeah.
it's not quite what you want in your community. There's a lot of garbage and old vehicles, and
Okay, let's get on another subject.
we're going to have one shortly. Go ahead, caller.
Your picture's clear. Your picture's coming real clear.
Okay, he must be having a problem inside his house or something.
Yeah.
His connections.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to have him out at my house the other day, because it was turned out the wire inside the house,
Yeah.
they had a little problem, and then one of their switches was hit the fan, and so they replaced that one. They put an AB switch on mine for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on with the county exec. One time Kathy, okay?
Well,
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Now, she hired 16 people. How much did that bill come to? It was in the paper. How much did that price come to, the 16 people she hired? Plus, she wants to give this guy, 25% increase. Okay, plus, they want to take that bond issue to update radio
911.
911. That's what, 30 million?
Well, 911, if you listen to the news, okay, all over the country, the government made a big effort to have everybody coordinated.
Right.
It probably is the biggest, I wouldn't say lie, but we're nowhere near that.
Rip off.
I mean, you had problems where the way they want the system work is, Mill Creek's chasing a guy, they should be able to talk to Erie.
Right.
Ambulances should be able to interact. If we had a disaster,
Oh.
God forbid, but say you had anything like huge snowstorm, natural disaster, could one police force talk to the other? Could they coordinate efforts to lock down let's say they wanted to lock down the interstate or certain roads, like when you had that flooding in Mill Creek, remember a couple years back? Where's the coordination, like if you got fire departments? And I don't think it's a bad idea that 911 has to be taken care of. I think we need to use,
Didn't we just update that? Put a new building up and everything? Didn't we?
yeah, but they claim, now, I'm not an expert, okay? I'm nowhere near, I would defer to our deputy chief, our chief of fire, our police
Well, like I
chief.
said, I think when what's his name was running the county, Barrett Grossman.
Yeah.
I think he pumped a lot of money into it, and they put a new building up out there.
Well, they put a new building.
Okay, now you got that.
They claim the equipment, though, is outdated. Now, I'm not, that's up DJ's area. I mean, not that exactly, but DJ understands that part of it better than I do, I mean, I've been told, and I'm not an expert, I mean, I'd have to defer to, you'd have to get
Specialize in that.
we have to get all those chiefs in here, let them decide. Now, how do we finance it? That's the big question. It probably does need to be fixed, though. I hope they call back. But that needs to be fixed because, from what I understand, the coordination's not there yet. And it's like that over the country. There's problems when you read about, something happened because somebody else couldn't get there in time. If we had to, in today's world, that's what they wanted to, I remember I went to a meeting where they showed us what would happen if there was a disaster. There was a couple car lots where their garages would be emptied out. These would be evacuation shelters, storage areas. they have a plan for all over the country where supplies would be brought in, where people would be, try to be moved out. Now, when you look at, can you imagine trying to get all that going up and down 79?
Oh,
Go ahead, caller.
You're talking about the emergency system. I think the first thing they have to do is get on an FM band, because you get all these signals and all these different towers, and they don't have a brain. They just pick up the call.
Yeah, see, I don't understand it, John, and that's what I'm saying, I can only go by, I've heard people in our fire department, a couple say that they don't think it's where it should be. And I don't debate we have to do it now, but what I think is, there are funds, from the casino and stuff, maybe we should use those funds. Plus, we're all paying, I don't know how much, are we still paying that tax on telephones, the finance?
There's $1.25 on the landlines that's taken away for the
But that's only
emergency money for the call.
But that's only on landlines, right, John?
Yeah, that's on landlines until the FCC gets going with the cell phones and things like that. It's going to always be a shortage of money.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe that's where the casino money or,
But first of all, we got to get the topography right, because you got a Davison in Erie, you got a Davison in Northeast.
You're exactly right.
And there's another thing that screws everything up.
Didn't that happen once? There was actually 3 roads in Erie County?
I think there's more. You got a Pagan up on the south side. You got a Pagan out in Northeast. There's too many duplications of roads.
Well, it's like Stanley Avenue where I live. There's a Stanley on one side and a Stanley on the other side of Pine Avenue.
And same thing east and west. Have you ever tried to call First Energy and report an outage?
No, why is it?
Well, the first thing they ask you, what city are you in?
Yeah.
And then you give them your block and you give them the street, and they want to say, is that east or west?
Well, here's a good one, John. Let's take Parade Street, which goes into Pine Avenue, correct?
Yeah.
Is it Pine Avenue? Is it Wattsburg? Is it Route 8?
It's all of them.
It just depends where you are. So I mean, if you're one of those, it's like Westwoods Road, 26th Street. If you're sitting there as a 911 attendant, you're right, John. You got part of the problem identified.
That's true. Well, just like French Street and Old French Road.
Yeah.
I mean,
And how many main streets we got?
that's true.
Or states, maybe not here, but yeah, I'm not debating whether we need to fix 911 because I've heard, it's not where it should be.
Well, the whole thing here is, if we get into the system, we should get a system we know it's going to work and put it on whoever's selling the system. If it's not compatible with the equipment, they have to make it compatible.
I agree with you. And, funding it, I'm not in favor of bond issues either, but, they ought to look at the whole purpose, as I understood the casino money, for the host community, which was Summit, they can only get so much because they have a small budget. So the county gets the rest of the money. Well, the intent was that was supposed to take care of all these problems.
yeah, but how much does Summit get?
They don't get hardly as much as the
County does.
restricted funds or the funds being set aside.
See, the way that the law was written.
They were the host.
Yeah, but see, the problem was their budget is very small.
Right. Now, if the city would have got...
We would have got all the money because our budget.
We'd be fighting where to spend the money instead of
Right.
grabbing the money now.
But a lot of that was set up. John, you agree with this? When it was set up to take care of police, fire, all the issues that concerned the casino.
That was the money that wasn't restricted. Yes.
Right.
Oh,
So-
no, that was restricted money.
Restricted, right. Now, the unrestricted money, I'm all for taking care of other people, but
They have money that they...
this is a county problem and it benefits everybody. Let's get the 911 system going.
I'd like to have the job just writing and signing the checks that Perry Wood has.
Yeah, there you go.
And let's face it, that's just a...
I mean, as much as I like the money going to different places, John, 911, it affects everybody.
It's true.
That's a county project that, we got to get the volunteers coordinated with the paid fire departments, the police departments all coordinated, and that's what the government wanted, the federal, but it's not, I don't think that's the way it is right now.
No, well, the money's available, but you got to go get it. And then once you get it, there's all these hands reaching in that cookie jar.
Yeah.
and pretty soon there's no money in the jar. One more quick thing. I see there's been damage to the fire trucks, heat blistering and lenses. Is the city insured, self-insured?
We're self-insured, John.
Well, you got mechanics that should be able to take care of that. Now we're going to see how this is going to be.
Well, this comes up all the time, and sometimes the trucks are under warranty, but when they're not...
That isn't warranty.
No, the trouble is that our guys can handle certain things, but when they get major problems, sometimes we've had to take them to Virginia, because there's a plant...
Well, that's a different situation.
Yeah, there's a plant there.
You're talking about the plates and everything
hydraulics
else.
And all that. Heavy-duty stuff. And
well, yeah, you've got wear plates, you've got...
I'm not liaison on that committee, but I'll try to find out for you why they went to Buffalo, but I'm sure it had to do with the extent of the damage, and they're probably better equipped up there to do it, than our men. Our men do, and they do a very good job. They do normal stuff.
They're equipped. What equipment do you need to sand down and paint?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the only extent, though.
And as far as...
I wasn't told, John, what the extent of the damage was.
The article I read, I'm not talking about interior stuff, but I'm talking about outside, normal, like lenses, and what's it take to pop a new reflector in?
Yeah, some tells me, though, it went further than that.
With Winarski to do the body work, for Christ's sake, if they don't have any body men down there.
Well, you know what? I'll check with the chief what really happened, because I believe it was more than just what they showed on TV.
Well, I'm not talking about TV. There's pictures in the paper of the damage today.
Yeah, and they had them on. They had them on TV the other day.
I didn't see that.
They showed the melted lenses and all that, but it could have been, there could have been damage done to the equipment inside too. Electronics and all that.
My opinion, maybe they got the trucks too close in the spotting of the vehicles and the whole shot. Maybe they should have watered them down on occasion too.
I don't know. I was told that I was out of town, so I got to plead. I wasn't down there, but I was told it was a good thing it didn't happen like a night before when he had the wind.
That's true.
You might have lost a lot more.
Wind, but still, you have to spot your vehicles right, and you got to have enough sense to move them if it gets too hot.
Well, I'll say this, John. I went out with those guys a couple times, and I'll tell you this: they're some of the best guys in the world I ever worked with. I'm no fireman, but some tells me that knowing those guys, they must have got caught by surprise pretty good.
They have a rough job, but you still have to have someone out there doing directions and thinking ahead.
Well, don't forget, we're short-handed, by council and the mayor did that years ago. So there's not that many guys. I don't know what happened. That's a funny street down there. Maybe they did the best they could, and it may have. I don't mean to cut you off, John. It may have just. I don't know what happened, but.
It's a close-quartered street. It's like the old in town. The streets are close together. The homes are close together.
But I know a lot of those firemen, and they're all, none of them would ever.
Oh, they're all fantastic.
I don't think they would do anything on purpose. I think.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
I just think the fire must have, from what I seen, I only saw it on TV, and it looked like it just had a life of its own. And
it was an inferno.
Well, do you remember what happened to the old Cascade Foundry?
I remember what happened to the old Arthur Schultz building on 18th Street and the old Decca plant.
I'm just glad, and I say this, I don't know if any firemen were injured on that night, I hope not, because,
Because their lives on the line constantly.
Yep, I just, I don't think, I don't know what happened, but I kind of, if somebody wants to say I'm taking their side, I am, because
sure
I think they're a bunch of good guys.
Because they have a dangerous job, but then again, you have a captain, an assistant captain, who should be on top of all this also. They're doing their jobs, and the brass should be doing their jobs too.
I'm thinking they probably had the hoses laid and everything, and that fire just took off, and by that time, you got other things on your mind. They were, and like I say, I wasn't privy to it, but I bet you they had a rescue mission at the same time, maybe.
It's a tough situation, and you got to be on top of it. So, okay, have a great day.
Yeah, I think, just from what I heard about them, and I'm not liaison to them, but I just, their job is, number one, people. Then the houses and everything. Their equipment is like important, but I think.
How old was that fire truck? Wasn't that a fairly new one?
I don't know for sure. Was it a ladder truck or was it a pumper?
Wasn't it a pumper?
I'm not sure, I wasn't in town.
I haven't had a chance to talk to, like I say, I'll ask a couple of guys, but just the time I spent with them, they're very, they're very good. A thing like that, you can imagine if the wind had picked up, we could have lost maybe another half a block.
Easily.
I mean, he's got a lot of old housing and,
Especially down there.
yeah, houses are,
I wasn't,
Down by that.
there was a huge fire on Lighthouse Street.
Yeah.
Three houses, was it? They had a death, I think, and that bothers those guys, they hate, and I always said this, you hate to see anybody, civilians or firemen, I don't know if any of the firemen did get hurt. It was, for it to melt the truck, it had to be pretty damn hot.
And I tell you, one thing, you smell a burnt body, you never forget the smell.
They gave us a little thing one time. We went into a burning back end of a tractor trailer.
Mm-hmm.
They have a practice thing up in off of Nagle Bridge.
Yeah.
At the training center. I tell you, that fire rolls over you feel like a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that fire felt like, but
wow.
some tells me that if it can melt a fire truck, it had to be damn hot.
Mm-hmm. How far were they apart, though?
That's, you got a lot of problems. You got hydrants, where you lay your pipe, and it's, in a perfect world where we have a lot of firemen, things can change quick. You can bring another company online, take the other guys out. We're short of manpower,
We're short everything.
Well, we are, and when you have to, when you're involved like that, now, I'm not a fireman, so I don't know. Can you take time away to move trucks? I don't think so.
No.
I'm thinking, you've laid them, with the intention of that's where you're okay, but then again, things get out of hand.
Getting back to the 911 thing, was there not just a very large effort to get everybody together into this 911 call center?
The county, the city.
Well, I think the federal government actually demanded that.
So has that not taken place? Is that still happening?
What's that?
Are we waiting?
The committee.
I don't know if the committee, you mean the committee?
No, I mean like the actual physical moving. I thought there was actually bringing people together and getting all the computers set up and coordinating all of the counties.
That's a center they got up, where's that, up on Oliver Road or?
Yeah.
Up on Oliver.
So is that going? Are we still waiting on something for
Well,
this?
they're saying the equipment's not up to date though.
But, I
The
mean,
equipment in that center that we just built is not up to
built.
date.
Go ahead, caller.
I hate to call you back, but does anybody else complain about having no picture?
No, we actually had a couple people call that said, well, one guy for sure.
Yeah,
That said it's okay.
working at Cat too. I just texted.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to see what's going
Yeah,
on.
just give him a call, ask him what it could be, maybe sometimes they can check it from where they are, they'll run a check on your system.
Yeah, Timbuktu.
Yeah, and then if not, they'll schedule an appointment, have a guy come out.
Yeah.
They're pretty good, the guys that come out there.
Make sure your cables are all tight, because I've found that my new little converter box, if I don't actually have that cable tight, and strangely enough, there's a number of channels that won't come in unless I take that box and I hang it over an edge. Because there's a kink in the cable, and if the cable's not a certain way, you lose that channel.
You hear what he said, sir?
Try moving it around.
The other channel but channel 9.
Yeah, it's very picky sometimes because it's a new technology, it's digital, and it happens to me at home sometimes if I don't move the box just right.
Tricky.
I lose channels.
When you said mine was so tricky that only certain HD channels wouldn't come in.
Yeah.
And when a technician come in, he said that's because they're on like one strand of wire or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just tighten them up in the back, and then if it still doesn't work, I'd give Time Warner a call and tell them you want to have a guy come out and look at it.
okay,
Move it around, shake it up. If that doesn't work, get a hammer.
okay.
Thank you.
I just like breaking stuff.
Yeah, 911. What the problem with 911 was, at one time they were going to put it. What was the old Kingdom Hall
Yeah.
out there on East 38th Street? But because it was near a railroad track, the government said, no, because, well, they're worried about explosive devices.
Yeah.
This is how serious it got after, 911. Go ahead, caller.
That buddy of yours, that know-it-all John that has called in about the fire and stuff.
Yeah.
You should check what he's talking about before he starts.
Well, I told him, I think the firemen did they did a damn good job. Go ahead, caller.
You got Lighthouse Street, a very tight street, probably cars parked on both sides, that big tower truck coming in there.
Right.
Just made it down there. And they got to get close enough to set up their tower to put up, they can't park a block away.
No, I agree with you. Like I said, I know Lighthouse Street is tight, and I don't know where the hydrants are either,
Right, and that thing took off on them. I mean, you just can't get in 30 seconds and start moving stuff around.
No, we don't have the manpower. Like I told John, and I hope you heard what I said, I believe they laid their pipe the best way they could, and, being a narrow street, they were involved on a rescue mission because they're not sure who's in houses.
That's correct.
And they're trying to get people out and save the houses. I mean, you hate to say their equipment is the last thing they worry about, but it probably is, because they're involved in, trying to make sure they don't get hurt, citizens don't get hurt, and they're trying to save the other houses in the neighborhood. If we'd had a wind shift or something like that, it could have been really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say that, we should do this. I'm not a fireman. I've watched them work, and, I take their word because I think none of them I've ever known were, ever did anything that was, dangerous. I mean, not dangerous that way, but they've always done things in a
They have a procedure going
Right.
in these fires. They do it all the time, and this was a real bad one. I mean, everything was set up the way it's supposed to be, normal, routine, the way they do things, and this one really got out of hand.
Well, think of 911, how many trucks they lost in New York. Or think about the old Cascade Foundry fire and all that. And
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, they do it all the time, and this was a big one. It got out of hand, and you're right. They probably got there, and the neighbors were all saying, "There's people inside. There's people inside."
Yeah.
So they were sending crews and looking for people probably at that time.
And I don't know where the hydrants are. They when you come up on the scene, like, it's easy for us, but, it's dark and, they're trying to lay pipe and they're trying to do the best they can,
Yeah, well, he should, before he starts blowholing about stuff, he should check into what really happened down there, because they have to replace a few reflectors and some paint on the truck. Big deal.
Hey, it might be more than that, because, that when I looked at the heat, for that heat to be that intense, I mean, I was thinking the other day, I was saying, can you imagine what they must have felt like?
Oh yeah, the guys working around there. I mean,
Those bumper suits, I put one on one time, and I did a little, they took us through a controlled fire, and I'll tell you what, I was hot. I don't know what they felt like that night, but...
I've seen helmets melt already.
Oh, yeah, because you're right, I'm surprised nobody really got, like the firemen, we could have had a really bad deal that night.
Yeah.
But I would never, I tell you, I admit, I would never want to be a fireman. I decided then that,
So, I'm getting back. Now, who's going to vote for that, all the raises, county, right?
what the council will have to.
What do you think's going to happen? You vote, what do you think's going to happen on that vote?
I don't know, tell you the truth.
Like we were talking, me and some other guy were talking about, okay, he wants 25% increase. Now, if he gets 10%, oh, that's good enough, 10% from 25. I think that's what they're going to do, low ball, go up high and low ball. They didn't hesitate to vote on that hotel, did they? That new one coming in.
No, that's one, didn't they get 65,000 for that, or
What?
didn't he get some cash money up front for that?
Oh, yeah. Someone's carrying the paper is going to make the money. But anyway, I think that was a stupid idea. She got in there, she pushed it, and the county just jumped on it.
Why, I
No
don't
debates, no people, nothing.
I didn't like it when I was on the school board. I'm not in favor of like raises all the time, There are times when there's a lot of people that, if they're contracted, that's one thing. Okay? that you live by your contracts. But by her own admission, I was listening on the news the other day. Was it her office? There were people actually going to make more than her, or something like that.
What does county exec get? Do you know offhand?
I'm guessing,
No such things.
well, our mayor gets like about, 90, so
93,
she's got to be up above 100, you would think. Or if she's not. But you know what's wrong? When you start giving your subordinates more money than you get, and I hear it all the time about, well, we got to pay to get good people.
That's both.
So, yeah, but what you're saying is that you're saying that because they get more than you, then why are you there? Okay, you're the one that's got to make the decisions, okay?
Tulio had the right idea.
Nobody made more.
No money, nobody makes more than me. And
Well, I go back to, here's how, when I was in the Army, here's how it worked, okay? There was seniority, right?
Right.
But it went right down the list, okay? 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. Colonel, lieutenant colonel, major, captain, lieutenant, your NCO ranks, everything had a pay grade. You get paid for what you did, okay? Now, if you didn't like that, okay, that's fine, okay? I'm saying, once in a while, yeah, you have to do it, but when it starts getting that, and everybody comes in, they get more than the guy that left. No, you should start low, because
and work
you should
your
earn your way up, okay?
Well, like most jobs, like Zern's, they have a 2-tier system. Okay, I'm making $30 an hour. New guy comes on, he's doing the same job, he's getting $15 an hour. So
Well,
it
here's the
takes
thing.
2 or 3 years for them to go up the ladder to get that.
Right.
Or they take care of the boss, and the boss, he needs a raise right now, we'll go right to the top, he's good.
Think about this. We pay some of our authority directors hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Oh.
correct? Okay, so now the mayor, and sometimes the county exec who actually, the people that actually have to sign their name on the line, do the things that have to be done, take the blame, all that, they get less, right? So what are you saying? Are you saying that you're not as good as those other people, those directors that run, you have somebody that runs a little authority compared to the city?
It's all favoritism.
It's like superintendents, all the superintendents make, the superintendent runs Erie should obviously get more money than the superintendent that runs another district that's smaller. Yet they're pretty close a lot of times. And I'm going, there's got to be a logic in this. I mean, the public sees this, more. You got to be careful how you do it because, they understand, the people who do the work, the guys that go out there and fill the potholes, okay? They have contracts, right? And we deal with them. We honor those contracts. But people that come in at random that, serve at the will, maybe sometimes you don't, you got a steady job, be happy. Go ahead, caller.
I got some homework for you, Kaz.
What's that? Okay.
City Council in Boston, there's 13 members.
Okay.
Look up and see what their salary is and what their proposed increase of a raise is.
In Boston, the actual town of Boston?
Yes.
Now, are their councilmen all equal?
There's 13 of them on the board.
They don't have like Chicago where they have councilmen and aldermen?
No, just councilmen.
Not like select councilmen or anything like that? They're all the same?
Look it up and you'll be surprised.
Okay. It's easy to find?
Yeah, just go on in the internet. Go Google it.
Okay.
Weren't they just asking for a big raise, too?
Yes, they just asked for $25,000 a person raise.
You know what? Our whole council, all right? Our whole council, John, barely makes more than that raise.
I understand that, but this is how outrageous politicians are these days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying, I'm saying that, in a lot of cases, and I'm not talking about the rank and file employees, because, they're unionized, we honor the contracts, but when you have people come in, they're like their authority directors or special assistants, and they start making more than the man that makes the decision, there's something wrong with that, because if you're in the service, you get paid by your rank, right?
That's true.
Or even the state police, you ever watch them? No, hardly anybody gets promoted.
No.
They're like a quasi-military group,
That's why a percentage raise is no good. It should be a flat rate across the board. because those are getting more and more, and it just keeps separating.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. I mean, you got to be careful when you go out for taxes, the kind of message you're sending out to the public,
And the public is going to do like Richard Pryor did way back in that crazy movie. Vote for none of the above. Have a good day.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but we just got the sign.
It's time to go.
What's that, is that the alarm clock?
No, it's me.
He's ringing all over the place.
We're going to have to make an announcement that guests will have to turn their phones down. But DJ, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ronnie, and we'll be on the air again next week, and I hope, will you be around?
Probably.
Okay.
We'll find out how Dow Camper's making out with these new raises by next week.
Well,
County council. We'll see what county council is going to do on these raises,
I'm a fond believer that you can always find good people.
if they're willing to work.
Well, I mean, the people that run for office know how much they're going to make. So are you saying you're not good? I'm just a question I'm throwing out there. You know how much you're going to get paid when you get elected. Many times it's not a lot, but you still run.
Yeah, you sure do run. Like I said,
Let's go before his phone rings anymore.
Okay,
you done?
that's it.
That's it.
You going to come by next week?
Sure. I'll be in town. I'll actually be in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.